Debates over whether Lightyagami is an anti-hero or a villain have persisted for as long as Death Note itself. Those who argue the former often concede that he at least transforms into a villain by the end of the anime, but even this is granting Kira too much credit. From start to finish, Light remains the same person, and the only thing that evolves over time is his increasing power, which allows him to act on more of his worst impulses. Light is primarily characterized by his ego, his intelligence, and his ambition to become a god. Above all else, Light is an immature brat who never utilized the Death Note to improve the world, only to make himself feel powerful and to boost his sense of self-importance. Light is a brilliant villain because of his schemes, his slimy charm, his rivalry with L, and the satisfaction that comes with his inevitable downfall, not because he's profound or raises any valid points about the world. Akamegakill is notorious for its roster of villains, most of whom are one-note, sadistic, and irredeemably evil. Among them, esdeath stands out as the series' most iconic antagonist, a cold-blooded, ruthless general who revels in torture, conquest, and bloodshed. Yet, despite her heinous actions, esdeath has garnered a surprising amount of fan admiration. Some even argue that she could be redeemable, often citing her attractiveness or her unrequited love for the protagonist, Tatsumi, as reasons. However, these arguments fall flat when confronted with the reality of who esdeath truly is. Esdeath is a character defined by her cruelty and her unapologetic embrace of violence. She takes genuine pleasure in inflicting pain and dominating others, making her one of the most morally reprehensible characters in the series. Her love for Tatsumi, often romanticized by fans, doesn't soften her in the slightest. In fact, it only highlights her possessive and toxic nature. Esdeath doesn't love Tatsumi in a way that fosters growth or compassion. She sees him as a prize to be won, a possession to control. Her affection is rooted in her desire to dominate, not to connect. What makes esdeath compelling isn't any hidden goodness or potential for redemption, it's her sheer force of personality. She's unapologetically evil, self-aware, and takes pride in her monstrous actions. Her fighting style, strategic brilliance, and over-the-top theatrics make her a captivating villain, but they don't make her sympathetic. In fact, esdeath would likely be offended by the idea that she could be redeemed. She embraces her role as a tyrant and sees no need to change. Gilgamesh is one of the Fate franchise's most iconic antagonists, but he's also one of its most overrated. In Fate, Stay Night, and Fate Zero, he's portrayed as a charismatic, all-powerful figure who exudes confidence and superiority. Many fans see him as a cool, charming, and nearly invincible villain, but this image is far from the truth. Beneath his grandiose facade, Gilgamesh is a pompous loser who fails to live up to his own hype. For all his pride and arrogance, Gilgamesh is far from being the strongest character in the Fate universe. Despite wielding the Gate of Babylon and claiming to be the king of heroes, he's repeatedly outsmarted and outmatched by those he deems inferior. His most humiliating defeat comes at the hands of Shiru Emiya, a novice mage with limited abilities. Gilgamesh's inability to defeat Shiru, a character he dismisses as a mere faker, exposes his overconfidence and lack of adaptability. Gilgamesh's worldview is equally flawed. He looks down on others for their naivety, yet he's the one who suffers from a narrow-minded perspective. His desire to wipe out humanity in Fate Stay Night stems from petty reasons, revealing a childish and immature side to his character. He views the modern world as impure and unworthy, but his solution, genocide, is both extreme and hypocritical, considering his own moral failings. Interestingly, Gilgamesh's portrayal in other Fate series paints a more nuanced picture of him. In works like Fate, Extra CCC, and Fate, Grand Order, he's depicted as a wiser, more mature figure who has grown beyond his earlier pettiness. However, many fans haven't experienced these iterations of Gilgamesh, leaving them with the impression of him as a man-child who talks big but fails to deliver. Makima is undoubtedly one of the most popular characters in the Chainsaw Man anime. As the enigmatic leader of Public Safety Division 4, she exudes an aura of mystery, charm, and danger. Her seductive demeanor, manipulative tendencies, and commanding presence make her a captivating figure, and her role as an ally to Denji and his friends has endeared her to many anime-only fans. However, loving Makima based solely on Season 1 of the anime means loving her without a full understanding of who she truly is and what she's capable of. Manga readers know the truth. Makima is the controlled devil, the mastermind behind much of the chaos in Chainsaw Man's public safety saga. Far from being a benevolent ally, she is the series' primary antagonist, orchestrating horrific events and manipulating everyone around her, including Denji. Her relationship with Denji, which anime fans currently see as complex and intriguing, is revealed to be far more sinister and calculated than it appears. Makima's actions are driven by her own inscrutable goals, and her methods are as ruthless as they are effective. Yet, what makes Makima such a compelling villain is the depth of her character. While her actions are undeniably monstrous, there are hints that her motivations are rooted in a painful and tragic past. This complexity adds layers to her character, making her more than just a one-dimensional villain. Some manga readers even argue that she deserves a degree of sympathy, though this is a contentious point among fans. Many One Piece fans would balk at monkeydgarp being described as a villain. While he's a vice admiral in the Marines, the grandfather of Monkey D Luffy has always done his best to help innocent people. He's never been directly antagonistic to the Straw Hat Pirates, and he's trained Kobe to be a hero, hoping he can change the corrupt nature of the organization they both serve. But as many positives as Garp may have, and endearing as viewers may find him, there is simply no excusing one of the strongest men in the world spending decades fighting for the world's oppressors. Garp has always known that the Celestial Dragons and the Five Elders are evil, and yet he's remained loyal out of a misguided belief that they're lesser evils compared to pirates. It also can't be overlooked that he stood by and did nothing as the Marines killed Ace, his own grandson. Garp may not be actively malicious, but he doesn't deserve any respect from fans, nor should there be any pity for him if he winds up dead at the hands of Blackbeard. Hisokamorow from Hunter x Hunter is a villain fans adore, but often for the wrong reasons. His flamboyant charm, unpredictable nature, and obsession with battling strong opponents make him irresistibly entertaining. However, beneath his playful exterior lies a deeply immoral character who thrives on chaos and destruction. Hisaka's appeal lies in his charisma and confidence. He's a showman who revels in his wickedness, making every scene he's in thrilling. But this charm overshadows his darker traits. He's a manipulative, narcissistic predator who views people as toys to be used and discarded. Fans love Hisaka for his entertainment value, but this admiration often glosses over his lack of morality. He's not a hero or even a complex anti-hero. He's a selfish, destructive force who causes harm for his own amusement. Loving Hisaka is fine, but idolizing him ignores the darker truths about his character. Throughout the series, Suzaku repeatedly condemns the Black Knights and their violent methods, positioning himself as a moral high ground. Yet, his actions tell a different story. As one of Britannia's most powerful and ruthless enforcers, Suzaku actively upholds the very system he claims to oppose. His blind loyalty to Britannia and his refusal to acknowledge the Empire's inherent fascism make him not just painfully ignorant, but also a glaring hypocrite.